All right, so to say, we had gremlins come into the office and they rewired the entire microphone system. I don't know why. But Jimmy's in California, so we'll get that fixed when he gets back in town. Can you hear me now? Is it registering? Good. Okay, so we lost a couple minutes. Yeah, mouse. So yesterday, we have a manager meeting every Monday and we plan on what we're going to do to talk. And we've got about 14 people on the call. And toward the end, my daughter Jessica said, I said, what do you think? Because we were talking to the market and how it's changing. And she says, I don't know. This has been on the market for 30 days now. And I said, stop it. We got to, and then Chris chimed in and I chimed in and Thomas chimed in and Jeff chimed in. And I said, holy shit, if you're thinking this way, everybody's thinking this way. So we kind of had a fun time with that. So we're going to play that game today again, which I think will be kind of cool. But she had a listing that's been on the market for 30 days and she priced it and she
Oh no,
oh no, the world's coming to an end. I just listened to a webinar this morning. We're gonna cover that, but there's some things specifically we're going to teach you to do. So that was one of the things that came out of the Phoenix retreat. As they said, we need to control the narrative and we need to give you guys the words to say, because the people that are operating the old way are not going to make it in the industry. We had 1.1 million agents join the industry last year.
wow.
The most ever in a year was 2005 at 800,000. So it's just too many. I got another one this morning and the agents are quitting and not even telling us they're quitting. I get a note from DPPR that says license moved notice. And I go see where they go and it says inactive. They're just going straight inactive and not even telling us. So, and that's happening to us. It's happening all over the industry now because they can't afford it and they're afraid and there's no leadership going on in the industry. So it's kind of fun. So let's get into basic. And then what,
Like that.
this one,
No.
this one.
No, sure.
Everything operates differently.
You're gonna have to log back in. Just log it out.
You did?
Your Gmail, but it might still be.
The gremlins are back, sorry. Okay, that's for later. This is for now. Okay. I'll read the first one. We have 2 months left. I was talking with my neighbors this morning and she said, how was your meeting yesterday? I said, it was good. I said, I told the agents you have 15 days to write a contract if you want to close this year. Think about that. 2022 is effectively over in 2 weeks. So if you want any more money before Christmas, you got to write it in the next 2 weeks. So where are those deals right now? In your database. So we're gonna get there. We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that will screw up royally sometimes. Understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Isn't that true? We have to look at that differently. Laura, it was you and I talking the other day. You said you've gone on quite a few listing appointments, but you're not getting the listings. Not that they're not listing with you, they're just not listing yet. So what you're doing is you're investing in your database and putting leads in your pipeline, right? So that's not failure. That's just a part of success, but you're going on the appointments. And I checked on them yesterday. Right? So that wasn't a failure. If you're on presentations and if you're making the presentation the way we're telling you to make it, you're gonna get the deal, right? It's just they're confused. That mortgage thing I was on this morning, these are mortgage brokers saying, I can't tell you if the rates are going to be 7, 7.5, 6, 5, 9. Pretty much is guaranteed the Fed's going to raise the rate another 0.75 tomorrow. So that's going to potentially take us to 7.5, maybe 8. So, and they said it again, date the house, marry the house, date the mortgage. But what if you didn't buy now at 7 and they're at 9 next month? You'd be upset because you're going to miss the boat. So you just got to play the game of the market the way they were. And this one girl was a mortgage panelist and she said, I've been doing this for 26 years. I've wrote loans as low as 1.75% and as high as 12%. And she's been doing it for 26 years, right? So where is it gonna be? I don't know. It is what it is. And then they talk all kinds of stuff, but it's coming out once you do number 2.
Number 2, when one door closes, another opens. Be sure to step through it. I think that's huge. When one door closes, another one opens, but make sure when that happens, if you feel like there's a part of your life, part of your business where the door is closing, you have to be alert and astute and start looking for the next one that's going to be open. And sometimes you have to actually start reaching for the handle and turning the knob to push through it. Takes a little bit of pressure and it takes a little bit of guts sometimes, but when one door closes, another opens. Just be sure that you are ready to step through.
Yeah. If you put the address in the GPS or it's haunted. When you get, when you put the address in the GPS and hit start, it shows you the route, but you got to put the car in drive. Same thing. Number 3, it's no use going back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Ooh, I like that. 3, 4.
Number 4, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from our actions. You know, I talk with a lot of people a lot, and there's this thing that pops out in my head. Jack Canfield wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. He wrote all those books, and Jack has this saying, and when he coaches this woman, he's talking to her and he's saying, you know, part of being joyful and happy is actually doing things that make you joyful and happy. And so if you're not feeling happy and joyful and feeling good about things, start doing things that make you feel joyful and happy and make you feel good. You have to actually start taking that action. A lot of people forget that. They wonder why they're so miserable, and they just have to look back and say, wow, what makes me happy? What makes me joyful? What makes me feel good? What makes my business go good? And have I been doing any of those things? And most of the time you'll find out that you haven't been doing those things.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, part of doing things is showing up. You know, it's really interesting to me. Today is the getting down to business for Isha Seals. And we had 20 tickets because we're their key sponsor. And I will tell you that the agents that are going are top agents in the company. So they're giving back. It's almost like tithing to your church, right? The $21 closing for kids, it's all top agents that are going to these events because they're engaged and showing up. And just like now, we have 3, 6, 4, 10 people in the room. It'll be more for the Apollo Beach meeting. But the people that are showing up are the people, I see you guys on the hot sheet. I don't want to talk about the hot sheet from yesterday. I'm still not over it. Whatever you are, be a really good one, right? If you're a real estate agent, be a really good one. Okay, that's enough of those quotes. All right, so okay, here we are, and it is what it is, and I'm not happy about it, but we will deal with it. The next slide is not pre-COVID. I've had to change that. It's last year to this year. So this year preliminary, because you know we closed yesterday out, and we'll have 3 or 4 days where the closings come in, so we won't know, but our listings are up to 244 from 227 2 weeks ago, because I didn't update the slideshow. So 244, that actually makes me happy. I like having signs in the marketplace where people can see we have business. I like having the sign in the yard long enough for you to get sign calls, and you'll see the sign calls are coming in more too. So actually looking at new listings, 54, 22% are sold already. What is it that makes a listing sell the month it's listed versus sitting on the market for now 20, 30, 60, 90 days? It's the micro market that it's in, right? If you price it properly in a good market, it's going to go quickly. My micro market, my Symphony House market, there's 3 houses on the market. One just went under contract and then one just came on. So there's 4 houses. There's usually 12 to 20 for sale. So in that micro market, it's hot. Something hits, and if it's priced right, it's going to go real fast. If it's priced too high, it's going to sit on the market and we're going to adjust. And like you're going to talk about later, you have to have this conversation with the seller. If you want to move fast, this is what we have to do. And we're going to talk about timing and all that stuff. Sales 99, that bites. We need 150 to 200. So that's just a shitty month. I'll blame it on Halloween for this time, but no, that is fear. We had a hurricane. We had fear. We got high interest rates. You got people sitting on the sidelines that don't know what to do, right? Let's see. Jim, Joe, Jeanette, you 3 of you have been in the market long enough to have sold houses with interest rates above 5%. The 3 of you. So 33% of our agents, between 66% of our agents have never sold a house in the market like that, right? There's a couple things. They're called expired listings, which is when it's been on the market for a while. See, we used to take 6-month listing agreements because if it didn't sell in 6 months, it would expire. And then we give another agent a chance to go in and get it. Well, over the fantasy world we just left, there's no such thing as expired listing because every listing sold. So that's an opportunity. So we're going to start working on expired listings. And then there's price reductions. We never had price reductions before, right? Because the house would sell so fast. But they're telling us now to write into the listing agreement automatic price reductions if they don't sell quickly. Because the unique opportunity you have right now is we've got comps that are 90 days ago that will justify the asking prices, but the demand is not yielding that price. So it's really important, and we're going to talk about this too, in Jessica's example. Do you just lower the price or do you keep the price high and offer concessions? And when we talk that through in that conference I watched this morning, if I lower the price, the buyer's going to save $50 a month because they're still lending, you know, 85% or whatever. But if I buy the rate down 2 points, I'm saving them $600 a month. So if you're the buyer, would you rather save $600 a month or $80 a month because you bought the house for $10 less? And you're probably going to refinance it anyway in the near future. So get the lowest payment you can as soon as you can. And that's what they were talking about, the cooperation between you and the loan officer, right? And that is going to become even more important now, right? So find a good one and work with them. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The question is, how do you market that? Do you put it in the MLS? Do you use it lower? If you put the higher price in, it doesn't look as attractive. If you put the lower price in and put a caveat that says seller will accept closing costs for a higher price or something, I will work on the language, but that's where we're going. Closings, 1,279,000, which is, you know, not great, but pending to close, we had 60. Angelique updated me this morning. So I think there's 44 now. But we had another 900,000, which would have put us over 2 million, which is good. There's only now 14 past closing. So we need to get those extended or canceled. And then this is the part I want to talk about. I've got a confession to make. Please absolve me for my sins. I sold 5 acres of a friend of mine's property to a friend of mine just by accident. And it's an owner finance deal, owner finance vacant piece of land. And the guy's going to pay cash. Well, no, it's owner finance 50% cash, and he's waiting for a settlement for something, and he didn't get it in time. But in the meantime, the seller was cleaning up the land. We had a phase 1 audit done, and when he was cleaning it up, he spilled some mineral oil stuff on the ground. So we don't want to take possession of the property because it's got mineral oils on it, and it was supposed to close October 26th. Notice October 26th, not the 31st. Hint. So that happened. And the buyer said, I'm not feeling comfortable with that. So he says, no problem, I'll take care of it. And he texted me yesterday. We've been waiting on a week for the answer that I didn't extend it, and I should have, right? So now I get a text yesterday. It's going to take them 3 days to get out there, 6 days to get the results back. So we need at least a 10-day extension. But here's what happened. In the meantime, D.R. Horton bought the property next door and put up zoning signs. There's no question D.R. Horton wants this piece of property. So that contract that I wrote gave the buyer the right to buy that property and the seller the obligation to sell it. Now, if D.R. Horton finds out that that contract is dead because I didn't extend it, and they swoop in on the seller, I listed the property as a one-party listing agreement, so I'm not the listing broker. The seller could be contacted directly by D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton could sign a contract with them and kick me to the curb. And what's my buyer going to think? Pissed, right? He's buying this property to store his classic cars on. That's all he wants to do. So by me not following my own friggin' advice and extending the contract before the closing date, I put my buyer at risk. I don't think that's going to happen, but he's at risk.
What about his escrow?
He would have failed to close. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've already worked it out. They're friends of mine, and so it was all good. But that's the problem. So, but I got myself in a vice. If D.R. Horton knew about this and went through, you never know. And then the seller would be happy because he sell the property for more money. Buyer's going to be pissed. Right?
Well, I think it's important point though. What did you do? Did you hide your head in the sand
No.
when you realized you made a mistake? No, you addressed the issue. You picked up the phone, called all the parties, talked with them, gave them updates as to what was going on, made sure we can get it extended, made sure everybody was still on the same page. This is what we need to do. Let's get this signed and get it in place. And it was done. But a lot of times I hear, when's the last time you talked to the seller? When's the last time you talked to the buyer? Oh, I texted him the other day. pick up the phone. In situations like this, communication is absolutely key. Pick up the phone. Don't hide your head in the sand and hope the problem goes away.
That's exactly what I did. And before this, we didn't know how long to extend for because we didn't know the extent of the damage. So now he finally decided he needed a phase 2 environmental audit, which is going to take time and cost money, quite a bit of money, actually. Yes. Yeah, Tampa Bay Consulting, I think is the company we used. Right. Back to did that. Okay. I just want to cover this with you because I like full disclosure and I want you guys to know I'm not making this stuff up. Can you see that big enough or is I? No. That's what you're gonna get. All right, so this is comparing January 1st, 2022 to September 30th, then the third quarter, 2022. So the selected period,
Carry this with you.
just walk with. This column is this year, 2022. This column is last year. So we're down in agents, which is going to continue to go down. Listings taken, not a big number. We're down 5.3% in listings taken, which is actually better than I thought because listings have been so tight. So you guys have been doing a good job getting the listings. Opens that we consider sales, we're down 13%. I just got back from Phoenix. These guys are crying. They're down 25, 30, 35%. Now, why is that?
In front of you.
So the guys in Phoenix that were at Phoenix from the rest of the country, crying 25%, 35% down in sales. We're only down 13%. Why is that? One, it's our sales tax. There's none. State sales tax. California's 13%, other states are 9, 10%. Our weather, right? Our taxation, all that stuff is huge. So I'm really happy we're only down 13% in open business. But that's volume. But our sides are down 24%. They were reporting volume down 25%. That hurts. Pending contracts were actually up from 6 million to 7 million. So we still have demand pending, but why would our pendings be up? Because we're selling a lot of new homes that take a long time to sell. So we're on the pending logs for a long time, but these are really good signs for us compared to other people. But our signs are down 17%. Cancellations, 500. This kills me, by the way. I don't like that. The staff has to work really hard. That's way to do all the work for this deal. These 600 deals, they didn't go. There's 460 sides. So our cancellations are down. That's a good down number. And then our closings are down 11% on commission, but 22% on units. So that's probably the same type of ratio you're looking at your business. So John, if you did 35 deals this year, 20% of that is 6. You should probably, if you're on market, you're going to be 29 next year instead of 35. You can live on 29, right? But if you play the game and you sharpen your game and you get into your database and you start massaging them and educating them, you could end up with 44, right? I was talking to one of our agents the other day and we were talking about social media posting. I was talking about social media posting and she was telling me that she's sick and tired of seeing all these agents talking about whatever they're talking about. And it's all me. This is what I'm doing for breakfast. This is what I'm doing this. It was a really busy day. I had to show 3 houses. I had to do all that. And I'm saying, no, we need to be talking about portability, the cap on sales appreciation rate for your property tax value, assessed value. Those are the type of things we need to be educating people on. I do it. I have a very small group I hang out with, right? In my neighborhood. I see them in the mornings. And we were talking about, well, who would move? I got a 3% mortgage now. I'm going to get a 7% mortgage later. And then I'm going to buy a house that's more expensive. My taxes are going to go through the roof. And I said, do you know about portability? No, what's that? Opens a whole new conversation. So you've got an assessed value of 400. And this is the math I need you guys to speak out. You bought this house at 400. Now it's 800. Your assessed value is 450 because it was capped. So you sell it for 800. 800 and 450 is $350,000 and Save Our Homes benefit. So now you go buy a $800,000 house and you can port that $350,000 savings on the $800,000 house, which brings you back to a $450,000 assessed value. That's an amazing tool that people need to know about. And you're going to look really smart when you have that conversation and post it out there. And that's when you're getting engagement with your post and they're going to share and like, and that's good stuff. So we'll keep giving you that type of content and go back in the archives because a lot of it's there too. And you can send it out again. So I wanted to share that with you. The rest of the country and our competitors are freaking out. We've been through this before and we know what to do. Stay tuned. All right, on deck today, Paramount title. And Paramount, I got something I'm going to share with you because Kathy McKinnon had an idea and it came out through you guys. And they wrote down 6 unique selling propositions. So I'm going to find that tab before I give you the mic. Just one of these. That's it. I'm not going to share them. I'll pull that up for myself. Okay, Megan, you're up.
Good morning, everybody. How are
Oh,
you?
hey.
It's just us.
So I wanted to get on and remind everybody that, when we get a
We're not
contract,
hearing you.
you can't hear me?
It might be us.
I can hear
You
her.
sign?
Can you, if you guys could chat online, if you can hear her, it might just be us in a room with whatever's going on with our system, but can you?
Chris,
They can hear.
Chris, I can hear her.
All right. Sorry for everybody in the room here. We
Well-
won't, for some reason, we won't be able to hear you in
Or you can
here.
come upstairs.
Do you want me to come upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come
You do
upstairs.
that and I'll cover the USPs while you do that.
Okay.
All right, so Kathy was talking about promoting Paramount Title because she works for Paramount Title too. We offer RON closings. What does that mean? Remote online notary. So if you don't have an office near you, we're specifically talking about the BE3 agents in Orlando and like Hernando County, that's hard to get to an office. We're doing these all the time and lenders are allowing them. So remote online notarization, you can sign on Zoom basically. And that's cool. Number 2, we have several underwriters and exhausted all resources to make sure we try to get all transactions closed for the agents and the clients. We know the importance of the livelihood. Number 3, we have payload. Hi. Come on, you can come up here. Just gonna talk around this one here.
Because of the mic.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. All right, so I wanted to remind everybody, being up front's kind of a little bit more nerve-wracking than being behind a camera. That to open a file, we need 3 things, or our order entry department does reject the file and we have to reach out to Sam. It is the contract deal sheet, and the ABA. Mike ran up the stairs. So we're gonna do a little competition. The first 3 agents that send us a fully executed contract, fully executed ABA, and the contract deal sheet with fully executed with your buyer's agent's information and your seller information we'll get a gift card. And then if we see good results with this, we'll do this monthly. We won't do the first 3 every month, but I'll put you guys in a raffle to win a gift card every month. So very excited
That is.
if we can get it to get you guys to bring them in.
And I want to comment on the deal sheet. It really is important for us. We do tracking and all that stuff. You guys track off of it. We
Yes.
track off of it. And we need to know as transaction fees, who's paying it, who's not paying it. And it's another bump in the road that we don't have to. And I know it's hard because you got to actually open up and input the information, but there's only like 4 things you got to write on that.
Yeah, and then it has commission for us. We don't have to reach out to you and call you and say, hey, what's your commission? Is there a transaction fee? Is there an MLS fee? It's all there. It's just gonna be smooth sailing from there.
Cool.
All right,
Thank you.
you're very welcome. Have a great day, guys.
I know what the problem is. So unfortunately, we'd have to unplug the mic every time. to make
Oh,
sure
okay.
it works.
Got it. All right, let me do one more thing here just to, we have Payload, which offers borrowers a portal to make earnest money deposits directly from their phone or laptop. That is cool. If you haven't done it, all you do is go to ptitlefl.com, bottom corner, hit make escrow, choose your title, Paramount Title, choose Apollo Beach. And it says, type in your routing number, the bottom left-hand number of your check, and your account number, bottom right-hand number, and put in the dollar amount, and hits enter, and your deposit's made.
Here's a cool.
So along those lines, I have a past client friend of mine who lives in the Dominican right now. They're working there. They work there for 6 months and they work here for 6 months. So what they did is we wrote an offer on a condo for them in Tampa, but they have no checks. They don't have a bank where they're at. Everything is online. So there's no way they'd be able to deliver escrow to the seller's title company because the seller's title company doesn't offer this. So we just wrote in that on page 1, the escrow company will be Paramount Title, and then the seller can choose whoever they want for closing. Makes it really simple. Just a reminder, the escrow company and the title company that closes the file can be 2 different people, 2 different entities. We don't like putting the extra load on Paramount to reconcile those funds every single month until it closes. But in a need like that, this was one of the only ways it was going to work without the buyer having to jump through 500 hoops. So it made sense for us to do it that way. And it's very, very easy. He got it done in an hour.
The only buyer I've worked with in the last 8 years is not tech savvy. He says, don't email me. I don't do that very well. So now I text him when I sent him an email because I can't forward the attachments to his text, right? But he was able to do it. That's my point, or his assistant did. We're trying to stay in front of technology and also give the personal customer service that people deserve. And we have an attorney on staff, and that's a big deal. And we're going to meet Danny Eskinos pretty soon. So, all right, I think it's time for, sorry.
You know, share.
Yeah, I'll do that. So manager report, real-time solutions. That was Thomas's idea. And I said, it takes a village. Thank goodness we have a strong one. We do enough transactions that if somebody makes a mistake, we share it. And then you guys get the master's degree education from somebody else's screw up. And we thank them for that screw up because we learn, right? So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to stop sharing. And are we going to let Jessica in?
Yeah.
Okay, so attendees, Jessica, you want microphone? You want camera? Are you all prettied up? Is that sexist? I shouldn't say things like that. There she is. Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
All right, Jessica, you're a co-host now.
Yeah, give,
Okay, can
just
you guys? hear me?
here's,
Oh, you're driving, huh?
well, hang on one second. So just if you're online, unfortunately, because of what's going on with the sound, I have to unplug this microphone for us to hear it in the room here so we can hear what you're saying. So just we'll go back and forth. Just give me a second. So we're gonna have to go one at a time. Make sure you guys aren't jumping in, interrupting each other. So we'll go in order. So Craig, why don't you go ahead and just kind of spearhead what the point is, and we'll talk with Jess and get her feedback of what's going on.
Well, I think, Jessica, why don't you just, we had the meeting yesterday and I said, how are you feeling about this market? And you said, well, I'm getting a little nervous because, and it was your house has been on the market. So why don't you talk now and give us that stage and then we'll come back and.
Okay, yes. So, I mean, overall, I was feeling pretty good about the market, but I have this listing that is in Riverview. It's in Magnolia Park. It's been sitting for almost 60 days. We've done 4 price reductions. The last one that we did, we didn't do a price reduction, or no, we did a price reduction and offered $10,000 in closing costs, and it generated 1 showing, and the showing went and chose new construction Lennar. And it's killing me because my sellers are currently under contract. I got them under contract on a property in St. Pete 60 days ago with a home sale contingency. And in order to get it 60 days ago, there were like other people interested. The sellers, we were not on the market yet. So the sellers wanted a non-refundable deposit. So I put $5,000 up front. We did our inspection period. We negotiated repairs, and then we put down an additional $5, and that $5 is non-refundable to then sell their house. And now it's been 60 days and their house isn't selling, and I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I'm doing open houses every weekend. Like, we can talk about that. I've been doing literally everything. E-blasts, reverse prospecting, calling agents that have little hearts, specifically sending links to people. Like, I don't know, I'm not getting anybody in the door. So that's a little worrisome. And it's priced really well. It's priced really well.
That's, you take over that one.
That's the funny part, because if you right now you can price a property exactly how it's supposed to be priced based on the comps, exactly perfect. Because the comps are showing homes that sold 30, 60, 90 days ago. Sometimes if you use 6 month ago comps right now, you're going to be sitting on the market longer than 60 days. Because 6 months ago, when something closed, it went under contract 8 to 9 months ago. So anything that you use that's 60, 90 days ago, which is what we're taught to use right now, is going to be potentially questionable. Just because it sold 60 days ago doesn't mean it's valid for your market. So unfortunately, you can price a property exactly right. I had a listing, went on the market. We priced it $5,000 below the one across the street that just went under contract in 7 days, 5,000 below that. We did not get any offers, did not get any showings. That one closed at the price that it was listed for. And we were 5,000 below and we were a better home and we did not sell. And we were exactly right based on what the buyers just determined that they would buy 2 weeks prior and went under contract. So you're saying it's priced very well, but not for you, maybe based on the comps, but not for the buyers. The buyers are determining that other things are more valuable. You made a very good comment about they chose Lennar. Why would they choose Lennar? Your price is what I want to, it's like 385. No,
Yeah,
that was the other one. That was Susie's was 305. So yours is like 385. The
Yeah,
Lennar home was
389.9.
365 for the same size. It may not be the same quality, but for 20,000 less, $100 a month, and for $20,000 in closing costs, and a potential rate buy down, the buyer is determining that that one is more valuable to them. And your home is probably 5 to 10 years old, somewhere in that range. And 5 to 10 years old, guess what they're going to have to do in another couple years? An AC unit, a water heater, appliances, and in another 7 to 10 years, potentially a roof, because their insurance company is going to tell them that. Now they have a brand new home they should not have to worry about for about 7 to 10 years. So yes, here's my point, and I said this to Craig. We need to take our own advice. What is our advice to buyers right now about interest rates? Get over it. You're never going to see 1.5 to 2.5% again. Get over it. I'm sorry, get over it. That's basically the main direction that we're giving buyers. Just get over it. It's not going to happen again with a little bit of love and sugar. So you need to take your own advice. Get over it. The home's not going to sell in 30 days, 60 days all the time. Get over it. It's not going to sell in 7 days. Get over it. You priced it exactly right and it hasn't sold. That's the same thing that's happened 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That's a normal market. You price a home exactly right. The buyers don't determine that the value is there at that moment, or that buyer isn't there at that moment. So you have two choices. Mr. Seller, we have two choices here. Here's our choice. I'm going to tell you what it's going to take to sell your home right now, and you determine what you're willing to do to make it sell right now. Or we leave it at the price that it's at, and it potentially sits even longer until the right buyer comes available. And if things continue to shift and change in this market, that right buyer may not be there, but they may be there. A balanced market is 6 months. We've been on the market for 60 days. We've got 4 more months to try and find that buyer. Do you have 4 more months to try and find that buyer? Yes or no? No, I do not. I'm about to lose $10,000. Okay, would you rather lose $10,000 on that home and walk away from it and not have the home you want? Or would you rather lower it $10,000? Because either way, you're losing $10,000. You're going to lose $10,000 if you don't buy the home. So why don't we reduce it $10,000? Because one way or another, you lose it there or you lose it here. Lower it $10,000, get into the home that you actually want and make the move that you want. You're moving from Tampa to St. Pete. Can you tell me why? I'm sure we know that. What's that motivating factor that made you want to move to St. Pete? Let's use a little bit of that, connect with them a little bit, let them know one way or another, $10,000 is gone, whether it's in this price or that home. Why not make that decision and get in a home that you want? Or if you don't want to do that, this is the home that you really want.
So this is the part about getting back to good habits, right? These are hard calls to make. Telling sellers that are listening to the media, well, the media, them listening to the media is good. Because they're saying the media is just saying the world's coming to an end, and it's not. So that's going to help us in this case. But you're going to be the shining star when you come in, but it means you got to talk to them. You know, we've always talked,
Yeah.
and we've been doing this for a long time. You should have it on your calendar to call every seller every week to say, nothing's happening, something's happening. I didn't forget about you. That's like rule number 1 for going forward in this industry, because you can't leave them sitting in the dark. They're going to be panicked and freaking out and pissed. And then your good
Especially when they're
reviews, those
stealing
things
over
are going to start dwindling down. We don't want that to happen. Yeah, it's going to just tell us later. So every week, every seller, give them an update. Jessica, I mean, she's been doing open houses every weekend for 2 months. That's a lot. She bought one of those little flag guys to get attention to the house. I mean, is that good? I forget all the other terms. Right. All right, let's let Jessica chime in now and see.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I chatted with them yesterday on the phone. Luckily, they're pretty understanding. I think, like you guys said, they're listening to everything on the news and they're seeing it too. So if I'm not addressing it, they're wondering why. So I think it is really important for us to talk with them, and I did, and I always thank them for sticking with me through this changing market. Know that we're doing everything in our power to get your home sold. And I mean, the C comes out in me and I get really analytical, and I showed them, I said, these are the properties that have gone under contract in the last 10 days. This is their average price point. And then I talked to them that these new construction ones are the ones going under contract, unfortunately. So I did get a price reduction again last night. We didn't, now instead of marketing it as $389.9 with $10,000 in closing costs, Jimmy was mentioning yesterday, he was like, okay, if I was the buyer and I'm on Zillow and I'm looking, I'm not really tapping into any of them to read the property description. So I'm seeing yours at $389.9 and the other ones at $375 or $370. And so I'm not even getting that click in to where I'm reading that there's $10,000 in closing costs. So I explained that to the sellers last night, just told them we're think tanking your listing. And this is kind of the feedback that I received. So we are nixing the $10,000 closing cost and going to $379.9 to market it at that price. Hopefully that's going to stir up some interest now. But I did tell them, I told the sellers that even though we're marketing it at the $379.9 price, what I can do when we actually do get people in the door is say, there is going to be no issues with appraisal on this property. And if your buyers would rather raise the price and ask for the $10,000 to pay down their interest rate, that's going to be a great option. And our sellers are willing to do that. So I just told my sellers, we just need to get people in the door for me to even offer that up front. And they were very understanding. And so now it's $379.9, shameless plug. It's great, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
So good morning, Jessica.
Good morning.
So I took a look at what was active in that zip code last night. So the interesting thing is, I mean, you got 1.3 months supply of homes on the market in that zip code right now. However, what went pending in the last 30 days ranged from 329 to 379. So there were 2 outliers that were in the 400s, but they were a tad bit bigger. 5 of those 12 homes that went pending in the last 30 days were new construction. So you're fighting that. You can't, you got to fight it. 379 may still be a tad high because because these new constructions are selling at 365, 359, and they're all 4 bedrooms and roughly the same price point as you. And they could be offering incentives that I can't see, obviously, from the MLS. So I think you're in the right direction. Be careful not to follow the market, but get ahead of it. And that's really going to be the secret here to get that sold.
Thank you for looking all that up.
Yeah, I'll give it to you later.
Okay. Oh gosh, yeah, it hurts.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you don't,
all
like
the
Joe said,
agents-
you don't want to get in the habit of chasing the buyer to the bottom. So you need to get ahead of that. If you're already, the range Joe said was 325 to 379. We just got to 379. We are still the highest price. Are we the best looking property at 379 compared to what else they can choose from? And then is it as valuable? We could be the best looking property, but there's another one that looks very similar that again is new construction or is offering other incentives as well. So your first thing is buyer attraction. How do we create value in the eyes of a buyer? Like Jimmy said to her online, how do you create the value in the eyes of a buyer online? Price.
Photos.
They're not looking at anything else. They're looking at price and your first 5 photos and determining just like that, just like they do when they meet you. They judge you based on the way you look, what you drive, how you showed up, how you acted, what you did when that first little bit. That's what we do to everybody. They're doing the same thing with the listing. First 3 to 5 photos, making a quick judgment based on that and the price and the location. And if it's an area they absolutely need to be in a neighborhood they definitely need to be in, and there's only 1 or 2 available, they may look a little bit more to see if they could create the value. But most of the time they're looking for the value and they're finding it valuable right out of the gates. So price is your initial factor. And if you're not getting the attention you need, how can we incentivize a buyer to buy something when we don't have their attention in the first place because the price is too high? You're not going to force an agent to force a buyer to buy the home by giving the agent a bonus. We'll incentivize an agent so they buy our home over the one next to it. We're not going to force a buyer to buy the home when it's overpriced just because we're giving them incentives because of what they can go somewhere else and get. So we need their attention on the price first. And once we have the right price and that right range, because we're getting the attraction from the buyers, then we can incentivize the buyer to come and make an offer on ours rather than the ones next door. So like Joe said, unfortunately, Jess, I think you're trending in the right direction, but you're probably still on the higher end based on what the buyers are determining they want to buy. Right now, your pendings are your biggest friend. Your pendings are your absolute biggest friend because 30, 60, 90 days ago sold, not going to be the true depictor of what your value is. They're going to help you get there, but you also have to look at the pendings and see what's went under contract in the last 30 days, because the comps, like in this case, showed 380, 390, almost 400, some over 400, but the pendings are showing 325 to 369, 379. So that's a big difference. Then you also have to go and look and see what's active. What else can a buyer buy? Does this sound familiar to anybody? Is this what our spa does? Go and see what else a buyer can buy and see how you stack up against them. Because if you don't think that they're doing it right now, trying to create that value, they are absolutely 100%.
I'd like to add too, Joe mentioned about the new construction. You may want to find out what that builder, who that builder is. Can you hear me?
We can hear you online. I don't think
Okay.
they can hear you in the office.
Oh,
We can
okay.
hear you, Thomas.
All right, so
Okay, so let
you
them know.
test the market. We didn't have to do this before.
Oh, Thomas, they
Now
can't
you
hear you.
test. And if you fail the test in probably 15 days, you test again. Right? So you dropped to 379, you took the closing cost away, dropped it to 379, give it 2 weeks. If we don't get interest, then it's time for another adjustment. Right? And here's the standard, write this down. If you're getting showings and no offers, the buyers are rejecting the price. Typically a 5% reduction will get offers. If you're getting no showings and no offers, the agents are rejecting the price and they're not even wasting their time bringing their buyers there. That's a 10% reduction. So a 10% reduction is $37,000 off a 379 house. That's a lot, right? That's down to 350, 340 range. It's right in the middle where the pendings are, but that's held true. There's a guy named Joe Clock. He was a training director for Coldwell Banker NRT, and he put out a whole working with sellers series from years ago. And I used to play it in the classes here. You probably remember him. He died, but that was it. Showings and no offers. The public's rejecting the price. The agents are bringing them in, but the public says, no, based on what I see, I like that one better. And you're not good enough. So 5% reduction, that's $15,000. It's not the end of the world. If you're getting no showings, which she's getting, no showings and no offers, the realtor community is saying, we're not showing this one. Okay, Thomas, go ahead.
Okay, so Joe mentioned that there were new construction in that area for Jessica where she's selling her home. It would be a great idea for her to find out who that builder is, what their concessions are, and also find out what their warranties are, so she can better prepare her seller for what she's up against. Because with the price and the incentives, it's definitely going to make it harder to sell with a new home versus a older home. So just take that in consideration.
I know it's Lennar, but I'm not familiar with what their concessions are. I should probably go in there and.
And right now they have some huge concessions, especially their year ends in November. So if those homes are ready to close by November, which is their fiscal year, they're dumping them right now.
Yeah, it
Oh
was.
my God.
It was.
It's like we just missed it. That's the hardest part, is we just missed it. If I had listed their house 2 weeks earlier, we would have sold it for 410.
Right.
Mhm.
But this is
It's
real
scary.
time.
Yeah, I know, I know. All right, I'm gonna go check in Lennar.
You got this, girl.
Okay,
You got
so
it.
It
anyway, I
was
thought that was a
Lennar.
really cool example, and I think we could all sympathize with it and learn from it. But I think it's better if we group think it together, and there's probably 8 or 10 nuggets in that example. And we were thinking yesterday in the manager meeting, if you guys have a problem like this, I mean, Jessica could film this. This is recorded. She could give it to the sellers and hear all of us talking about as a think tank. What do we do? And they're going to hear all these objections coming up and how do they deal with it? It's a great way for us to work together to help each other do the thing. Right. So you could share this video with your seller for a similar situation. Or if any of you online or in the room have a tough situation, give it to us. We'll work it through and then we'll do another ensemble like this. Jeff, you have any comments?
My comments, they're similar to what we just talked about, but I think what we talked about in the managers meeting is the sellers understand simple facts, right? So it's either the market is slow or your house is being rejected. And so that's when we go through the numbers, kind of what Joe was talking about, saying, here's the number of how many bedrooms and baths is it? 3 2s that's sold in this neighborhood. If the number is 0, then you have a bad market. It just means nobody's buying right now. And if you have 2 others that sold, then it's your house. It's being rejected. So it's either the market or it's the property. And a lot of times we put pressure on ourselves thinking that we're not doing a good job. But the fact is that sometimes there's just no buyers for that product right now, right? People walk through, you got to take them out of the industry sometimes. People walk through Walmart or Target or Publix, and there's items on the shelves that people just walk by. They're just not selling. That's not attractive in this market to these people right now. And there's nothing you could do about that. You could try to reduce the price, change the labeling, do some staging, do whatever you want to do to get their attention. And that's a different conversation. So it's either the market or it's the property. And sometimes we have to dig deeper, what Joe was talking about, to figure out which one of the two that it is. But take the pressure off of yourselves. We're just advisors, right? We show them what's going on in the market and we help advise them on what to do. Sometimes the answer is maybe this isn't your time to sell. Not this case, because they have another property. So their only other option is to become very attractive for somebody to buy. And then what Thomas is talking about, it's just bad luck, right? Lennar is going to crush them in incentives and closing costs and price and pools and decorator packages, whatever they need to do to hit their bonuses at the expense of your client. But it's not you. It's just, but it is you if you don't tell them this, right? So we have to go full transparency about everything, good, bad, and ugly, because that's what a good advisor does. So I just want to add that part.
I like that. Thank you.
And I
It's
want you
not
to
me.
avoid the part, it's either the market or your property. They're thinking it's the agent. So if you're not in conversation with them, demonstrating competence like we're talking about here, there's 3 problems. It's either the market, the house, or you. And what are they going to think? You. So
My house.
it can't be my house. Obviously, that's not the problem. Right. But, and you're going to put yourself in that. So by doing what Jeff said and what I said, staying in touch with them all the time. I mean, Jessica said, we did a think tank on your property. We have all this stuff. And then we hit them with this video recording. It's not going to be you. That's the problem, because there's enough information there for them to see it. And that's how strong we're going to have to be. And that's what's going to change. So it's going to take some practice for you guys to learn how to do that again, because we're out of practice from a long time ago. Being a trusted advisor is hard. That's why we get paid big bucks though, right? Wait till we get to, we'll get to the local, we don't have the time. We gotta run.
Well, we're doing our meeting.
I'm gonna go back here, share, boom, we're gonna wrap this up. Okay. Easter Seals book drive. I am proud of you guys. We got every book on that list sold. That's really cool. Today's getting down to business luncheon. So we'll see you there if you're invited. I just want you to see. Well, I don't know who's invited, but last week's training recaps, I just think that's important. Please go back. There's lots of nuggets. We are hitting you with relevant stuff in the market today. So if you miss a class, it's there. And it's a lot of time. You know, those things have to be rendered and downloaded and uploaded and put headers and footers and all that stuff. And then Angelique takes them and sends them out like clockwork. There's an updated FSBO guide in Moxie for you prospectors out there. We want you to look good in the marketplace. So find that. I don't have the Zillow report, but I did get 6 or 7 more Halloween notices, all right? And I said this yesterday, but I'll say it again today. York is the president of Moxie Works. He had a panel. Jimmy was on the panel with him on the stage. And he said, there's no excuse for you guys to not do 2 things. One is use Engage, and that has 2 parts to it. You have to set a goal, and it doesn't matter what your goal is. Set a goal, because the program won't work without it. And then upload your content, your sphere, your database, right? So we'll help you with that. We've got the consumer mailing list in Dash, which is all of your past clients with all the information that you gave us on the deal sheet that we put into Dash for you. So garbage, if you don't give us the shit, then you're not going to have it spit out. So we'll give you all your past clients. And then we've got an app that all the OTLs know how to use called Covey Export. And it's an app, it's 99 cents now, but you buy it, you plug it into your phone, and it takes all your contacts from your phone and puts them into an Excel file. And then you put those in the format, first name, last name, phone number, email, all that stuff, and it spits it out, and then you can upload it to Moxie. All right, so get engaged, set a goal, upload your database, and then put them on Neighborhood News. It's a once a month contact. Everybody should be on that, period, end of story. And the second one was, all of your past clients, every year on their house anniversary, you call them and set a meeting with them, and you give them an updated Moxie CMA and show them the value of their house. My financial advisor calls me every quarter, says, Craig, here's where you are. And then he shows where I am now. And I go, shit. He goes, don't worry, we're still buying in, it's going to come up. So same message we're delivering to our sellers, right? But he does it every quarter. He's preparing a portfolio analysis, and you can prepare a portfolio analysis for all of your past clients, because 75% of the customers say, 85% of the customers say they would do business with their agent again, but only 25% do, because we stay away from them and don't stay in touch, right? Not a good business practice. So those are 2 things: get Moxie Engage set up and do a CMA for all your past clients. Lana, how many past clients do you have now? A couple of years in the business? You do have a lot, right? So let's say there's 75 or 80 now, probably close to that. That's a job, right? Doing 75 CMAs. But if you just did it once a year for their house anniversary, you'd spend probably 2 or 3 a month. Wouldn't be bad, right? But imagine how they feel. You're going to take credit. You sold them that house for $330. Now it's worth $570, $525. And they may or may not know. And we're not asking them to move. I just want you to bring relevant information to them. So that was the biggest takeaway, because we have the tool, and if we don't use it, we're nuts, and it's free.
You need appointments, right? And if you sold deals, or even if you haven't sold deals, if you have sphere of influence, it's really easy to do an annual equity review with your sellers or your homeowners that are in your sphere. You need appointments. If you have a sphere of 100 people that own property, or past clients and sphere of 100 people, that's divided by 4 quarters, because they probably didn't all buy in the first quarter. That's probably spread out throughout the year. Let's just say it's 25 a quarter. That's only 3 months. That's 8 appointments a month that you could be going on with annual equity reviews with sellers. People who are in a position that may want to buy, may want to invest, may have equity, may want to do something in this market, may want to refer business, may know a neighbor. It's an annual equity review. And if you had 8 extra appointments this month with homeowners who you could discuss that with and have a conversation with, what could you potentially get out of it?
Jeff, I don't have my notes. Remember that formula though? They told us that the number of units in your database times the annual transfer rate of homes in that market, which is usually about 15%. So
Yeah.
if you have 400 people in your database, about 15% are going to do 60 properties, 60 transactions, potentially 120 sides are going to happen in just that area. And then I also talked about the internet lead death spiral, because all these agents and all these teams are running around buying internet leads, chasing them for years. Tenley, these still leads, we've been working them for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months before they buy anything, but we're ignoring the 400 people that are in our friggin' phone, right, to do these things. So we're spending 8 months following up with people there, where we're forgetting about our sphere because we're spending all our time chasing incubated leads. I thought that was a pretty good takeaway. Okay, so once again, I just wanted the random 5. If you guys don't like this, send me a note, because I think it's kind of cool. But they're quick this week. Tammy Vasquez. I can't speak highly enough about Tammy. as my real estate agent. Her professionalism, knowledge, honesty, integrity, and hard work and ethics are much appreciated and respected. She's detail oriented, honest, good with people, has a knack for getting things done behind the scene. So glad she was there to walk me through every step of the way. I couldn't have asked for a better realtor. Thank you, Tammy Vasquez. You rock. I mean, is that what you want to hear? And I play these because this is what they value. My closing was not the most orthodox, but Bob Dean was there for every step of it. Truly beyond what should have been expected from any agent. I would not hesitate for one moment to recommend Bob, advise him and real estate service and knowledge to anyone. My residence sold within 4 days of listing, was priced correctly, and the agent looked after everything extra that was required. Communication was absolutely amazing. He was on top of everything. Any client may contact me with regards to a referral. Excellent service, right? That's what we're talking about. Lauren Fleischman. Thank you, Lauren, for helping us get our dream into reality. Communication was excellent, and she was way above and beyond to help my family get our home. Not a bad one, guys. I'm not making this up. Kimberly Bowden is just such an amazing and professional agent, always responding and acting so fast, very patient. So they want you to respond, be patient and educated. Her knowledge is just incredible, very friendly, and a great performance all the time. I'm glad she was at my agent, who advised me extremely well that I made a great decision. I am so happy that she was my agent. I can highly recommend her and will definitely use her in the future, so long as she stays in touch with me. Right? That's that. Halloween notifications. Okay, I got 6 more yesterday. I had one from Kelly Foreman saying happy Halloween. Right? So this is that Moxie tool now. Business Builder, gone the end of this year. Read only now. Zap, gone the end of this year. Read only now. So you got to get engaged in these things. And really, you should be sending these. Mike Wiles did a loan for me, the loan officer here in this building. What did I get from him? Happy Halloween. That's a CRM. That's what it does. We got to engage these things. And you've got one of the best trainers in Moxie on our team. Jimmy's in high demand. I'm pimping him out, by the way. There's a whole bunch of brokers that want to use them. Welcome 8 new agents within a second. Joe Gina reminded us when the tax bills are out, which our trim notices are out now, we got to go into the MLS just for honest transparency and update the taxes, because it's a big deal, right? We're showing the sellers who've been living in the house for 15 years and their taxes are this. What are their new taxes going to be? That's more for the buyer's agents. I think the seller's agent is going to misrepresent that, but there you go. That we don't need to talk about. Oh, the agents. I'm not going to read all these remarks. I just want to show you that people are leaving the industry, people are coming into the industry, and the people coming in are going to have to learn really hard and really fast, or it's not the market they thought they were joining. So Sarasota, Ivy Nidley, welcome to the team. I think Angelique sends these to everybody. Karen, another Sarasota. Kat's been going crazy with recruiting. So Carrie Ann Gilliard, welcome to the team. David Howard in the building, engaging at Trunk or Treat 2. Welcome to the team, David, the Apollo Beach office. Naveen, welcome to the Apollo Beach office. Not in the room. In Michigan and stuff.
Yeah, cool. So here's just if you want something, you can make it happen no matter what you're doing. This girl is in Michigan from the middle of October to the middle of November, but still signed on and is contacting for sale by owners and sending them a Moxie FSBO guide from there, and has already had 2 or 3 appointments with me that discussing how do I set up my next appointment? How do I do it through Zoom? How can I communicate more? Because she's making contacts from there, from Michigan, talking to for sale by owners here. So no excuses.
I was going to say, and what's your excuse? And David, Naveen. Indian Rocks Beach, welcome to Amar. Welcome to the team. And David, Joan Medina, welcome to the branded teams. That's kind of cool. Every office is hiring people and we're an attractive company. Joan Rodrigo Medina might be Hispanic. Yeah. Jeanette. Oh, we get your picture to do a welcome back to the team too. We get your picture, Susie. Let's get her picture to do a welcome to the team. Welcome back to the team.
With today's, I'm really glad.
Jeanette just said, with today's meeting, I'm really glad I'm here. And then I think the last one here is Sarasota team, three Sarasotas about Karen Stephanides. Welcome to the team. That's it. Okay. Leads, a little better. They're still out there. I was taught that mortgage seminar I watched this morning. I don't really have a life. Grabbing my butt. My phone was ringing and I was trying to turn it off. What was my so we joined this Rise network, the Rise Consulting Network, and they invite us to a lot of seminars and these master people that are really doing a good job working internet leads. And this topic was about mortgage brokers supporting the real estate agents and actually door knocking with them and holding open houses with them and doing all these other things. And the one guy just finished listening to says, every lead is a good lead. They raised their hand and said they want to buy a house. What we're really doing now is just building our pipeline for when the market gets easier. And so you got to look at all these opportunities like that. Anybody who comes into your open house goes into your database and they start getting a happy Halloween notification and a whatever campaigns you like, right? So you want to build your pipeline now, because when interest rates are going to come back down, the Fed's going to probably get us up to 7.5, 8, 9%, just so you know. And then the economy is going to slow down and they're going to say, oh shit, we did too much. And what's going to happen, Jim? They're going to lower the rates back down. And then the public's going to go, oh shit, we better buy now. And you want them to think about you when that oh shit moment happens, right? So there are no bad leads. Get every lead you can, put it into your Moxie, put it on a campaign. This should be a 30-second operation now once you get this part down. That's really important for us going forward. So this guy's idea was, all we're doing now, because it's slower, is we're building our pipeline, managing our CR and nurturing our pipeline. Just nurturing. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're just staying in touch, providing content, which is now more important. If you're going to do video content on your Instagrams and your Facebooks and shit, and they start following you and you're putting out meaningful content, pretty cool stuff, right? That's where we're headed. And 9:37, I'm late. Oh, so the lead, I don't need to read between 96 versus 86, 196 versus 189. So we're pretty stable on leads coming in, but that is your pipeline. So if you're not answering those, you're losing the opportunity, because the value of a customer is $130,000 over the life of your relationship if you get them ready. And just understand they're not ready now. The pause button has been pushed. You're dealing with normal person real estate now only. That's okay. Oh, we got birthdays. Diane Taylor, happy birthday today. And Kathleen Pyle from Orlando, yes. Araceli's downstairs on the 4th. LaShonda Magnum on the 4th. Eddie on the 4th. And Karen on the 4th. Busy 9 months before that. Sarah McIntyre on the 6th. Joan, our new agent, his birthday's on the 5th. Helen Williams on the 7th, and Sarah Sanaberry on the 7th as well. And then our anniversaries, now I got to count backwards. So I'm gonna start at the bottom. 1 year anniversary for Deanna Russell, Sam Wallace, Gigi Holmes, Edith Onga, Shannon Townsend, Jennifer Deeth, and Tiffany Cutini. 2 year anniversary for Imani Bailey, Luisa Ruiz. Happy birthday, or happy anniversary, Luisa, and Greg Trout. 2 years. Then 3 years for Brian Kerfus, Jennifer Jordan, Kalani. Oh, it's only 3 years. That's 4 years now for Kalani. And then 5 years for Mike Puma. He's finally graduated. 5 years now. About time I got a license. Nicholas Newberry on the 16th. So 16 plus 4 plus 2, 6 years. And then David Brendel, 7 years. And then 9 years for Matt Galster. Gosh, 9 years. Eva's Farmer, 12. That's 10 years for Eva's. 10 years for Kim Hodgkins. 15, 17 years for Joe Aletto. We're growing old together, dude. 18 years for Brian D, who's in Ireland right now. And then Jackie Stone, 18 years again. Wow. Thank you guys for your loyalty and time over that, but I think we've changed a lot of lives, haven't we?
Oh, we have.
And get ready, these awards are going to go up because prices have gone up and you're going to see the award values go up next year. So do your best to hit the targets for this month. And that's all I got.
See if Jeff has anything on that.
Any closing remarks for anybody?
No.
Good to know. Nope. Okay. Happy Tuesday. Take this advice, guys, really. Take the advice. I'm not kidding. We know what to do. It's gonna be a little more work, but you watch. The rest of the industry is gonna fall flat on their faces, right? Laura's plugging the inventory, going on the presentations, going on the presentations, and just stockpile. And then it's nurture, follow up. They're gonna come at some point. And you're gonna be, at one point, you're gonna call them and say, hey, you notice? There's only 3 houses left in the whole neighborhood for sale. Now's a good time to get on the market. Because there's 8 or 9 out right now. But that's the intimacy of knowing your market. So you're on track. Perfect.
All right, guys, happy Tuesday.